there are moments when words feel heavier than staying quiet, when explaining feels like lifting something fragile and realizing your hands are already tired. There's a kind of quiet that isn't empty. It's the quiet you choose. When explaining feels riskier than staying still. When words line up in your mind, but your body hesitates, as if it already knows how this could go. So, you don't explain. And in that moment, silence feels safer. Not easier, just safer. If that sounds familiar, stay here for a moment. This isn't about fixing anything. It's about understanding something your nervous system already knows. Most people think silence means you don't care. But often, silence appears when you care deeply. Because explaining requires exposure. It means opening something internal and placing it in someone else's hands. And if those hands have dropped it before, your body remembers. You might not consciously think they won't understand, but your chest tightens anyway. Your shoulders pull in. Your breath shortens. That's not overthinking. That's memory. Here's something rarely said out loud. Explaining yourself is an emotional gamble. You're not just sharing information. You're risking misunderstanding, minimization, advice you didn't ask for, or worse, silence in response. So when you choose not to explain, you're not being distant. You're being careful. And that makes sense. Notice how often silence shows up after effort. After you've already tried to explain once, or twice, or many times, after you chose your words carefully, softened them, clarified them, and still nothing changed. At some point, your system learns explaining doesn't lead to safety. It leads to exhaustion. So silence steps in, not dramatically, quietly, like a door closing to protect what's inside. Silence can feel like control. When you explain, your story becomes negotiable. Someone else can question it, reframe it, decide whether it's valid. But in silence, your experience stays intact. No defending, no proving, no shrinking. For people who were asked to justify their feelings early in life, silence becomes a boundary before they even realize it. A way of saying, I don't need permission to feel this. There's also the weight of translation. Explaining means turning something emotional into something understandable, and that takes work. You have to organize the feeling, reduce it into language, predict how it will land, prepare for the reaction. That's a lot to ask of someone who's already overwhelmed. So, silence becomes rest, a pause where you don't have to perform emotional clarity. And sometimes that pause is the most compassionate choice available. But here's where it gets complicated. Because silence can protect you and still feel lonely. You can be safe and unseen at the same time. That doesn't mean you chose wrong. It just means you're human. Most people don't want to be heard by everyone. They want to be understood by someone. And when that someone feels absent, silence starts to ache. Not loudly, just enough to notice. If you've ever wondered, why can't I just say it? The answer usually isn't fear. It's discernment. Your system is asking a quiet question first. Will this cost me more than it gives me? And if the answer is unclear, silence buys you time. Time to breathe. Time to stay intact. Silence also shows up in people who learn to keep peace, who noticed early that expression created tension. That honesty caused disruption, so they adapted. They became careful, observant, quiet in moments where others speak. This isn't weakness. It's intelligence shaped by environment. But intelligence can become heavy when it's carried alone. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is communication. It says, I need safety right now. This matters to me. I'm not sure this will be held well. And those are valid messages, even if no one else hears them yet. You don't have to force yourself to explain to grow. You don't have to suddenly become expressive to be healthy. Growth is not louder. Growth is more choice. The choice to stay silent when it protects you, and the choice to speak when it nourishes you. Both can exist. If explaining feels like too much, you're allowed to start elsewhere. You can explain in writing. You can explain to yourself. You can let the words exist without sending them anywhere. Sometimes clarity isn't for other people. Sometimes it's just for relief. And when or if you choose to speak again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need the right tone, or the right timing, or the right explanation. You only need enough safety, and safety doesn't come from being understood by everyone. It comes from being understood by one place, even if that place is internal for now. If you're quiet often, it doesn't mean your inner world is small. It usually means it's rich, protected, waiting for the right conditions. And until then, silence is doing its job. So if you're listening to this right now and noticing how still things feel inside, let that stillness be kind. You don't need to solve anything. You don't need to decide anything. Just notice that you're here, breathing, intact, and maybe a little lighter knowing there's nothing wrong with the quiet you carry. You are allowed to exist without explaining. And when you're ready, your voice will still be there, unrushed, unbroken, waiting.